Welcome back. It's Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and today we're going to do part 2 of the Ornament Mystery Crochet Along. We already finished part 1, and that one was super duper fun, and I loved seeing every one of you posting about their ornaments. Oh, I love them, so keep them posted. Be sure to show them to us in the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki. We want to see all of your ornaments. Okay, so let's make part 2, your second ornament of the Ornament Mystery Crochet Along. So we're going to go through a couple of things to remind you of. So we have a giveaway happening. I mentioned all the different parts in part 1. I'm not going to go into detail here, but there's 12 winners in the end, 3 per part. First one, sign up. It's free to do so. The second part right here is simply to watch all 3 videos, answer the question at the very end. You're good to go on that part. The next one is to actually finish it and then post it by the deadline. And the last one is to actually be part of the party. So that way you have a chance to win there as well. All right, so that's about the giveaway. Make sure you do all the parts so you have the biggest chance to win. Okay, so the next part would be to talk about the pattern. So you have a link down below. Just like in part 1, there's a link down there in the comments. So make sure you use it. It'll take you over to my website. It is free to view. It's not printable. There's a table of content that allows you to expand it, and therefore you jump right to the pattern. So that way you don't, have to watch all the ads, but just ignore the ads. If you can't afford to join our membership, then simply ignore the ads. Pretend they're not there, okay? That's what I do. I don't join every membership either, and that's totally fine. You do what works best for you. Just know that it's not printable, but it's free to view. Anyways, but if you do want to have an ad-free and printable version and more than 600 additional patterns, then come join the Crochet Club, because that's exactly what you get. More than 600 ad-free printable crochet patterns. And of course, we meet 6 to 7 times virtually every single month, and we have so much extra exclusive patterns. You have a voice on determining which patterns are going to be published, which ones am I going to teach you live. Oh, there's so much fun, extra support, a really fun, cool community where you're going to find your next crochet bestie. You can join us as a monthly, quarterly, or annual member, and there's so many extra features that I haven't even talked about. Anyway, so that's also something to think about. Let's talk about the materials so that you know what you're going to use today, and then we go straight into the pattern. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, for this part of the pattern, aka part 2, for the second ornament, we are going to use this guy right here, which I talked about in part 1. So this is the 70mm sphere ornament. It's not a flat one, it's a sphere. You can substitute with polyfill if need be. We're going to use cotton sprout yarn, or at least that's what I'm using. Technically, I used white and red. Again, that is hard to see on camera, so we're skipping those colors, and I'm going to use the yellow and the pink again, so that way it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. So this would be the yellow right here, and then the pink right here. Okay, we're also of course needing a pair of scissors, tapestry needle, and a 4mm crochet hook. So let's get straight into it. All right, we're going to use red first, or in my sample right here, it's going to be the pink, and we're going to use that for a little while. Okay, so we're only going to use the white/yellow for a little bit, towards almost the end of each part. So it's kind of broken up into 2 pieces, and then we're going to put it together. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do a magic ring, or feel free to do the alternative, as long as it ends up with a closed hole on the bottom. The hole is not open, it's closed. A magic ring in some kind of way. Anyway, so if you are doing the magic ring, make sure you're using a finger here, so that way you have tension, and you're going to add 6 single crochets to the ring, and then you are going to close the ring. We are going in continuous rounds this time around though, and you're simply going to use a stitch marker. I will show you that I'm using my yarn end right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to use my yarn end as my stitch marker, like so. I literally just wrap it around it. It's already there, might as well use it. Okay, so now I'm going to go into every single stitch and crochet 2 single crochet stitches. So remember, the very first one's always a little tight because you just pulled and closed that magic ring. That is normal, so don't think it's because of you. It's normal that the very first one is a little tight. So just push it in and crochet your 2 single crochet stitches. Now do this all the way around, so 2 single crochet stitches per stitch, and then we're going to go into the next round. All right, in the next round, you're going to move up your stitch marker, and then you're going to crochet 1 single crochet stitch, and then the following stitch is going to be 2 single crochet stitches, so an increase. And then you're going to repeat this, so 1 and then 2. Do this all the way around. You should end up with 18 stitches because per round you're adding 6 single crochet stitches. So when I'm done, we're going to go into the next round. In the following round, we're going to crochet 1 single crochet in 2 stitches and then 2 single crochet stitches after that, so an increase. So it sounds very familiar to part 1, am I right? Yeah, it's very similar. It's just the starting point is different, right? Okay, so let's repeat this. So 1 single crochet in 2 stitches and then an increase. Do this all the way around. This is round 4, so you obviously should end up with 24 stitches because there's 4 stitches per repeat times 6 is 24. All right, so finish this up. We're going to the next round. All right, let's go into the next round. This one is going to be 1 single crochet in 3 stitches and then an increase, or 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch. Now let's repeat this. So 1 single crochet stitch in 3 stitches and then an increase, which means 2 single crochet stitches. Do this all the way around and you should end up with 30 stitches at this point, and then we go into the following round. Always make sure by the end of the round you're moving up your stitch marker. And the next round, 1 more round of increases, so that means 1 single crochet in 4 stitches this time and then an increase after that. So you do this all the way around, so that means per repeat you have 6 stitches, therefore you end up with 36 stitches by the end of the round because 6 times 6 is 36. All right, let's finish this increasing round, and then we have a few rounds of just single crochet stitches. All right, now we're going to go into the rounds of just single crochet stitches. So this will be round 7 through 9. It's going to be just single crochet stitches, okay? So 1 stitch per stitch. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And when we're done with that, we're going to do one very special round using the other colors. So for me, that would be white/yellow in order to do this one special round. Then we're going to repeat this section in a slightly different way and then finish it all up. So let me finish onto round 9 and I'll show you that very special round, which is round 10 together. All right, once you're done, you are going to fasten off. So again, I like to do the invisible slip stitch at this point and just going to pull this back and then pull my yarn through that I had snipped. And therefore I am done with this color. So I'm just going to hide that in here for now and it's all good. So you're going to take your other color as mentioned and you're now going to crochet a few spike stitches. Okay, so we're going to start right away in the very first stitch. And we're going to do a repeat of 6 stitches. Okay, so we're going to start right away with a single crochet stitch. So you can weave in here your yarn at the same time or just let it dangle. So 1 single crochet stitch first, then you're going to go 1 row down. Now I like to first or after, it doesn't matter which order, do a single crochet first, but it's kind of an unfinished one. The reason for that is it looks a little bit cleaner. It's not so wiggly. So I can show you an example in a second, but so I pull this one through first, then I go down below, pull another loop up and yarn over, pull through. So you can do it this way or another way. So again, there's a few different ways to do it. Another way would be to go down first, which I like to do because that way it's not so visible, right? Like this, I pull this up first. So again, this was a regular single crochet stitch. This is one down and then go into the stitch, pull a loop through, and then yarn over, pull through all. Okay, so it's kind of like 3 loops, and it's kind of hidden there in the back, but you'll see in a second why I do that. It is not necessary. You can simply do this. So let me show you. The next one goes 2 down. So this is single, 1 down, 2 down, right? So it would be right here. So you could just pull this up and do a single over. So if you feel like that's what you want to do, that's fine. But sometimes I feel like this loop here moves a little bit too much. So what I, as I said, like to do is then after I pulled up my loop, I'm going to pull one more through right here and then yarn over, pull through. It kind of hides it a little bit better. When I say hides it, that means it's kind of blending in a little bit better. But again, it's not necessary to add that extra loop into it. I just like to do this. Okay, so now you're going to go and do, so this was 2 down, so let me say it again, single, 1 down, 2 down. Now you're going to go 3 down, so 1, 2, so single, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to go over here, pull this through, and again you have a choice. You're either going to crochet it as normal, or you pull this one extra loop through, which makes this one a little tighter, and therefore, you know, blends it in a little bit better. Yarn over and pull through. You can see that transition is kind of nicer and it's not so wiggly. But again, it's up to you, right? So now you're going to work your way back up. So this was 4 stitches. So now this is single, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Now we're going to do 2 again. So 2 down. Again, I like to pull here my loop through 2. You can wiggle this around if one of your loops is a little bit too big, and then finish it up. And now we're going to do 1 down, right? So this one, sometimes I skip it and because it's so close to it, but might as well do it right here to have it all even. So this is how it looks like. This is the repeat at 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now make sure that your stitches are not super duper loose, right? They can get a little loose because that's really what you're doing. You're just doing spike stitches. So it makes the entire thing a little bit loose. You don't want it too loose, okay? So keep your tension nice and tight. You're going to need that information later. Trust me, because when you put it together in the end, you don't want it to have bulking out or anything. Okay, so keep your stitches nice and tight. So now you're going to repeat this. There are 6 stitches, there are 6 repeats, so you're doing this entire thing 6 times. So that means here we're going to start again, 1 single, then the next one is 1 down. As I said, I like to pull up another loop here. So it's not a slip stitch or anything, you just pull it up, so you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through, then it's 2 down right here. Then after that it is 3 down, so 1, 2, 3, so which will be right here. And again, you pull this up. I like to wiggle this a little bit because this loop right here sometimes gets a little loose because you're pulling your hook down. So you see that this one got a little bit loose, this loop right there. So here's what I do. So I'm gonna, this is the one that gets loose a little bit, so try to hold tight on it as much as I can when I pull up that loop, right? If it gets a little bit loose, you can just wiggle it like this, so it makes it a little tighter. Then I grab my loop right here, right? So it keeps it nice and tight. Hang on, I just split my yarn by accident. So let's do that again. There we go. See, and it keeps it nice and tight. Then yarn over and pull through. This is the one that gets a little loose sometimes. Okay, so that's the one you have to be careful about. So once I did my 3, I go back up. So that way it looks like this. Okay, so you're now going to do this all the way around. As I said, it's 6 stitches per repeat. There are 6 repeats in total. So go ahead and do this all the way around, and I'll show you how mine looks like after. And then we're going to do a slightly, just a tiny slightly version differently, but it's pretty much the same thing. You'll see in a second. All right, let me snap right to it. All right, so this is how it looks like. So I fastened it off over here. Just put all my yarn kind of on the inside. It's totally fine. You can weave it in or just let it hang there for now. So we now need to make our second half because this is only the first half that we made. But the second half is done slightly different because here's the thing. You are going to use this bobble right here, and it's going to be like this, and you have to put the other half on the top. So here's why I said you have to be careful on the tension, right? So you don't want it to go outwards too much. It may look like, oh, this is too big. Trust me, you're going to go around it and make it tight, okay? You could use a bigger one if you wanted to, but it's going to work. Trust me, okay? So what we now need to do is we need to do our second half, but the second half needs to have a little hole right there, right? You can see that we have the hanging part of the bauble right there. So you can't start with a magic ring. So we have to start slightly different with a little bit of an opening right there, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to show you the first part of it, and then the rest of it is done exactly the same way as this guy right here. We're just starting different, but we're finishing it exactly the same way. And then I'll show you how to finish it up. So let's do that. All right, you're going to start again with the same color. So for me, that was pink or red, depending on which one you picked, right? And you're going to start with a magic ring, but we're going to do it slightly different. We're not going to start with 6 single crochet stitches. We're going to start with 18. So we need to do like a little few extra rounds in, right? So think about it like that. So remember how we have a multiple of 6. So each round is a multiple of 6, right? You go from 6 to 12 to 18, 24, etc., right? So we need to start after having 18 stitches, which means we're going to add 18 stitches to this magic ring, and that also allows us to do some movement here. Now keep in mind, if you are someone who can't do the magic ring, which I understand, it's fine, you would probably need to make some kind of chain first, because it's 18 stitches is not going to fit in the chain of 1, okay? So some kind of chain, make it into a loop, and then work around that, and then somehow close it in the end, but not close it. You need to have an opening, of course, for this guy. So I'll show you in a second how far we need to go. So first you want to add your 18 stitches to the ring. So once you have your 18 stitches, okay, you're going to close this, but not all the way, okay? So you're going to pull this, and then you're going to kind of check on your little bauble. So you want to do it in a way where you kind of put it around here, okay? So you may have to wiggle it if you pulled it too tight, like I just did, so until it fits. So move it around. There we go. Okay, so now it fits. So this is what I need, okay? So I don't want to pull any further than this. It needs to fit around here, okay? So now I'm going to take it back off, and I'll make sure I leave my little hole like this. I'm still going to use my yarn end right here as my stitch marker, and I'll just make sure that I don't pull it any further than this. If it gets a little loose, it's fine. You're going to be able to tighten it up later. Just don't weave it in just yet, so that way you can make adjustments. Anyway, so now you're going to go into the next round. So the next round, obviously, because we're not starting with 6 stitches but with 18, you now need to go into the point where you need to do from 18, you need to go from 18 to 24 stitches. That means you're going to start with 1 single crochet in 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and then you're going to go into the following stitch and you're going to crochet 2 single crochet stitches. So that means in this repeat you have 4 stitches, right? 4 times 6 is 24, right? We have 6 repeats here. So now we're going to repeat this. So 1 single crochet in 2 stitches, and then an increase. So you're going to do this all the way around, and then you're going to continue the pattern as you did for the first part right here, okay? So you're going to continue this now after you finish this round, and then continue on like you did the rest of it, okay? So think of it like you're going from round 4 through 10, okay, if you want to call it that way. And that's how I have it written down in the pattern too. You're going from round 4 through 10 now. This is round 4 that we're doing, right? And you're going onto round 10. So round 10 is the spike stitch. When you're done with that, you have your 2 parts. I will show you how to put this entire thing together. So let me do that, and then we're going to do this together, shall we? All right, let's put it together. So you're simply going to put one into the other, right? And you're going to put this one on top. Make sure that you are pulling out here your yarn end, because that's the one you're going to make a knot in later and then weave it in. So what you're going to do is you want to make sure that you are aligning your lines. Okay, that sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean. So the idea is whenever you have a long one, you want the long one on top of the long one, if that makes sense, right? And then this one on top of this one, and then this one on top of this one. So you want them to all be kind of aligned, okay? So now you want to do is you want to go from one to the other and kind of, you know, sew it together. You can slip stitch it together, whatever. There's many different stitches and how you want to connect them. But the idea, what it is for me, what I like to do is kind of go around the stitch like so. And then from there, I'm going to go over to the other one and literally just go around it, like literally go around the stitch, like from front to back to front, and that kind of pushes the V's towards the inside and makes this a little bit flatter, and also brings these stitches together a little bit. Okay, so it's like similar to the mattress stitch, but not exactly. Okay, so I'm going to go around the stitch, right? And then I'm going to go down to the other side and also go around the stitch. So you can kind of start seeing now, they kind of are going to look like little, you know, knots almost, but it kind of makes it look cool, right? So, but again, you want to make sure that your lines are lining up. So, or your spike stitches are lining up. So as you do this, make sure you go slow so you're not skipping by accident a stitch. So you can see that how they line up very nicely, right? So for example, here single crochet is on top of single crochet, right? But you are going kind of in a zigzag, but you still want to kind of make sure that they are aligned with each other. Okay, so you're just simply going to do this all the way around and sew it together. Finish this guy up right here, make a knot, weave it in, and then you're done. Let me show you how it looks like. And it's gonna look like this in the end. Doesn't that look so pretty? It kind of has a little bit of an indent here, which I really love. It makes it a little bit more texturous, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So here's the other version, my original, which is the white and red. So it's kind of like, think of it like an iceberg, right? The iceberg, obviously I could have used blue over here, but you know, I wanted to keep the same colors for all of them. So yeah, it's really, really pretty. I would love to see if anyone made it in blue and white, by the way. That would be cool. So anyways, this is how it looks like, no matter which color. The pattern looks really, really good. I can't wait to see yours. So now it's time for you to take a picture, ideally with parts 1 and 2 together. Obviously I have double the amount here, so if you're fast, maybe do the same, but I really, really love it. I'm so excited. So let me see your picture of both of them together. Post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with the hashtag that you see here on screen. That way we can find you and celebrate you that you finished parts 1 and 2, or better, ornaments 1 and 2 of the Ornament Mystery Crochet Along. Yay! Oh, I can't wait to see yours. Anyways, make sure that you're also going to answer the question over here in a second down below in the comments. So here is your question. Let's do a 2-and-1er again for this question. So question 1 is going to be, did you do it with a bobble or did you do it with polyfill? Which is pretty much the same question as in part 1, but I'm really, really curious on how you did this and how you finished it. My second question, again, this is a 2-and-1, right? Please answer both of them in the same comment. My second question is, which one is your favorite so far? Is it the first ornament or is it the second ornament? I would love to know which one is your favorite so far. And remember, we still have one more to go. And on that one, actually, you don't need anything on the inside. So there's no insert for part 3. And that one is coming out tomorrow. I am so excited for that one too. Every single one of these is unique, special, easy in some kind of way or another. So I'm really excited to see all of this come together. Are you ready for part 3 already? I sure am! You're going to crochet yours now. Make sure you answer the question down below. Did you do it with a bobble or with polyfill? And which of the two is your favorite so far? I'm not going to judge you. It's totally fine if you like both, none, or just one or the other. Please pick at least one. That would be really nice. Anyways, so go ahead and do that. And don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a video or go live. I sure hope I see you in part 3. Do I see you in part 3? I sure hope so. Let's keep going with the fun with the Ornament Mystery Crochet Along. I'll see you in part 3. Bye!